Hey folks, before we dive in, don't forget to follow S News so you won't miss this story or any of our future videos. If you want to support us, go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button and drop a comment below. It really helps us out. So, thanks a bunch. Pirates attacked a US cargo ship, but they had no idea what was above them. In less than 3 minutes, over 600 bullets tore through the deck of an American cargo ship. 5 pirate boats sped in at 45 knots, each armed with rocket-propelled grenades and heavy machine guns, firing wildly at a $250 million US-flagged vessel like it was some kind of amusement ride. That's how the morning of May 9th, 2025, began off the lawless coast of Somalia, with 30 Somali gunmen laughing and firing at cargo containers, even trying to blow open steel doors with RPGs. They were convinced they'd take hostages, demand ransom, maybe even kill.
They will pay us or they will die. This ship is ours now.
What they didn't see was a US aircraft carrier lurking just 412 nautical miles away, ready to launch drones, Apache helicopters, and 3 Black Hawks loaded with nearly 50 elite commandos determined to turn the pirates' big win into a smoking graveyard. So what did the US thermal cameras capture over that pirate-infested layer hours later? And why did dozens of pirate camps across East Africa disappear the very next day? Stick around, because once you see how the US responded, you'll understand why no pirate has dared aim their weapons at an American ship since. At exactly 7:18 a.m. on May 9th, 2025, the rough waters off Somalia turned into a war zone. A group of 5 pirate skiffs carrying at least 30 heavily armed Somali raiders tore through the waves at 45 knots, their engines howling like jackals. Their target, a jackpot, the MV Redwood Star, a US-flagged cargo ship loaded with over $250 million in high-tech industrial equipment bound for Southeast Asia. On board were 23 crew members, mostly Americans and Filipinos, led by a seasoned 54-year-old captain from Galveston, Texas. They knew the dangers of these waters, but nothing could have prepared them for the sheer audacity of this assault.
All hands, prepare to repel boarders. This is not a drill.
Waving AK-47S, PK machine guns and RPG launchers, the pirates opened fire with a terrifying barrage of tracer rounds. It was a brutal announcement of their intent. As the skiffs closed in to under 200 yards, the crew scrambled to defensive positions on the outer decks. Armed with little more than hunting rifles and a few old semi-automatics, they returned fire in short, controlled bursts. The ship's hull echoed with deafening gunfire. Bullet casings clattered across the steel deck. Crew members fired from behind barriers and shipping containers, hoping to hold the attackers off. But the pirates were experienced killers of the sea. They spread out in tight formation, unleashing relentless suppressive fire. Bullets shredded crane lines and ropes. One crew member was shot in the shoulder and spun into a lifeboat cradle. Another barely escaped as machine gun fire splintered wood just inches from his head. Realizing how outgunned they were, the captain shouted over the ship's loudspeaker, ordering an immediate retreat. The crew dragged the wounded sailor with them and fell back deep into the ship's fortified citadel. Walls lined with reinforced steel, emergency oxygen systems online, and satellite distress beacons flashing urgently. Above them, the pirates swarmed the ship, cheering, their boots thudding across the empty deck. They thought they had won.
Distress signal. This is Redwood Star. Under siege. Crew secure in Citadel. Awaiting your justice.
The pirates had no idea they'd just triggered something far worse than they could imagine. So what would you have done in the captain's place, locked in that steel room? Was his decision right or wrong? When that distress call reached the USS Independence, a massive US aircraft carrier cruising about 400 nautical miles off the coast of Somalia, it sent a chill across the command deck. The message from Redwood Star was clear: under siege. Crew secure. Immediate assistance required. That meant 23 sailors, Americans and allies, were trapped behind steel doors while armed pirates roamed free above. Any delay could turn the ship into a slaughterhouse.
The admiral didn't hesitate. One nod, and the carrier roared to life.
Within 7 minutes, the flight deck was a blur of action. 3 MH-60 Seahawk helicopters launched first, each fitted with GAU-17 miniguns, flying fast to locate Redwood Star precisely. Right behind them were 2 Apache gunships armed with Hydra rockets and 30mm cannons, ready to light up the deck if needed. But, the real knockout punch came after that. 3 Black Hawk helicopters loaded with elite US commandos, ready to bring swift justice from the sky.
3 small helicopters, each carrying about 50 elite Navy SEALs and Marines, lifted off, fully armed with body armor, night vision gear, and powerful M4 carbines. Their mission was clear: secure the deck, eliminate any resistance, and reach the citadel before the pirates could breach it.
Inside the combat center aboard the USS Independence, operators watched a live infrared feed from drones scanning the cargo ship. The thermal signatures inside the citadel glowed bright, proof that the crew was still alive.
They're still in there.
But the pirates were getting closer to the hatch. Every second counted.
Deploy everything, no delays, those are our men.
Helicopter blades thundered as they sliced through the air and waves. On board, the SEAL team leader double-checked his weapon and radio. 23 trapped sailors were counting on them. He intended to bring every single one home. At 8:12 in the morning, the first US helicopters broke through the salty air over the MV Redwood Star. The deck was chaos. Over a dozen pirates roamed freely with AK-47s and PK machine guns, kicking doors and firing blindly at the upper levels, trying to find a way down into the citadel. The lead Seahawk moved in fast. Its gunners unleashed a terrifying storm. Over 2,000 rounds of 7.62mm bullets from twin GAU-17 miniguns in less than a minute. Bullets shredded shipping containers and tore through makeshift pirate barricades. Stunned by the overwhelming firepower, the pirates scattered. Some dove behind cranes, others hit the deck clutching their rifles. Seconds later, the Apaches arrived, hovering like silent executioners. One pirate, foolish enough to sprint across the open deck, was cut down instantly by a 30mm burst. His body flew backward in a red mist. Another group tried to regroup near the starboard cranes. An Apache rocket strike wiped them out, sending twisted metal raining down. Then came the storm. 3 Black Hawks roared overhead. Ropes dropped. Nearly 50 SEALs and Marines fast roped down in tight, controlled waves. Within seconds, they fanned out into combat wedges across the deck, rifles sweeping, headsets crackling with commands. The pirates tried to fight back, unleashing desperate volleys from behind a pile of crates. But the Americans responded with surgical precision. Controlled double taps. Every shot found a chest or a head. One pirate carrying an RPG made it to the railing. He took 2 rounds to the torso before he could even aim. Another tried to flank the SEALs. He was torn apart by a burst of M4 fire.
Move! Secure the hatch! Cover left! Watch that crane!
In just 6 minutes, the deck was secure. 8 pirates lay dead in pools of blood. 4 more were on their knees, hands shaking above their heads, weapons tossed aside, staring in terror at the Americans closing in with zip-tie cuffs.
Deck secured. No friendly casualties. Preparing to breach and recover crew.
It was brutal. It was precise. It was unmistakably American. While the pirates relied on chaos and firepower, US forces brought training, coordination, and absolute fire discipline. In under 10 minutes, the Redwood Star was retaken, and the once fearsome pirate gang was reduced to bodies and trembling prisoners. By 9:30 in the morning, barely an hour after the ship was secured, the captured pirates were kneeling on the deck of the USS Independence, hands bound, eyes wide with fear. Under the blazing sun, Navy interrogators worked quickly, aided by translators and intel officers. Within 20 minutes, the terrified pirates revealed what the Navy needed: precise GPS coordinates of their coastal base. It was just a cluster of shacks, fuel tanks and weapons caches nestled in a rocky Somali bay, roughly 27 miles inland.
I didn't blink. Orders, let's get them moving. Combat center, reroute the Reapers now.
Almost instantly, 4 MQ-9 Reaper drones, each armed with Hellfire missiles and laser-guided GBU-12 bombs, were redirected toward the target. A satellite scan confirmed thermal signatures: 40 to 50 armed men, several trucks and heat patterns matching hidden fuel and ammo stockpiles.
IR feed's lighting up, sir. Looks like a full house down there.
At 10:04, the first Reaper fired. A Hellfire missile streaked across nearly a kilometer and hit the largest hut dead on. The explosion tore through the camp, sending fireballs and debris 200 feet into the air. Secondary blasts followed as stored munitions lit up one after another, a chain reaction that turned the base into a burning graveyard. Over the next 6 minutes, the other drones unleashed their payloads with devastating accuracy. IR video feeds on the Independence lit up with brilliant flashes as huts exploded, technical trucks armed with machine guns flipped, and rows of docked pirate skiffs were shattered. One bomb found an RPG cache. It exploded with such force that fiery shrapnel scattered half a mile across the dusty terrain. By 10:12, the once bustling pirate hub was nothing more than scorched craters and smouldering ruins. Navy analysts estimated over 80% of the pirates' manpower and combat equipment had been destroyed in under 10 minutes. No US aircraft ever came within range of enemy fire. The entire operation was conducted remotely, with unmatched precision.
They'll think twice before messing with us again.
Another SEAL just nodded, still holding his rifle as plumes of black diesel smoke curled into the morning sky. No drawn-out battles, no American lives lost. Just range, firepower, and unshakable resolve. The pirates who once terrorized these waters saw their empire wiped out in minutes. The message was clear, written in fire and steel across the Somali coast. Any survivor now knew exactly who ruled these seas. The destruction of the pirate base sent shockwaves across every smuggler's radio up and down the Somali coastline. Intercepted chatter revealed widespread panic. Pirate groups that once bragged about hijacking American ships suddenly pulled their skiffs inland, dismantled engines, and buried fuel barrels. They'd watched entire compounds, men and fortunes vanish in under 10 minutes, without a single American setting foot on shore. Satellite imagery over the next 72 hours confirmed it. Former pirate anchorages, usually busy, were abandoned. Shipping lanes were clear. Suspicious vessels steered far away. Where once the Indian Ocean teemed with hostage-hungry gangs, now there was only open water and silence. The drop in pirate activity was so dramatic, global shipping insurers took note within days. The USS Independence held position, drones and Seahawk patrols scanning the waves. One glimpse of a United States warship, or the shadow of a drone, was enough to scatter any pirate boat still afloat. They knew what would happen: satellites above, reapers circling unseen, and if needed, a rain of steel they could never outrun.
It didn't take months of costly convoys, just one ruthless strike, delivered without hesitation, to reset the rules.
From now on, pirates won't be calculating ransom. They'll be calculating how fast they can run.
For the crew of the Redwood Star, stepping out of the Citadel and breathing in that first lungful of free air was more than survival. It was a living promise kept. A reminder that when Americans call for help, it doesn't arrive late or half-hearted. It arrives with the fury of a superpower, delivered with unmatched precision. Narrator, media, U.S. Navy SEALs guarding rescued crew on deck, Navy rescue team leading crew to safety, crew members celebrating on ship at sunrise. For the 23 crew members of the Redwood Star, the nightmare was over. For every pirate on that rugged shoreline, the message was burned deep into the dirt and ash. Threatening American lives isn't just risky, it's a guaranteed path to annihilation. In a single morning, the United States Navy and its elite forces dismantled an entire pirate operation that took years to build. What began as a brazen attack on a United States cargo ship ended in burning ruins, captured criminals, and a shattered network too scared to strike again.
Well, folks, that's the story for today. Thanks for listening. And hey, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to follow S News for more stories like this one. Go ahead and subscribe, like, and leave a comment. We'd love to hear what you think.